So in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about what exactly is in the QLA, Dan Pena'S QLA weekly reporting system. So this is something that we received as a part of our seminar. I cannot go into all the details of the reporting system. He has asked us not to, but I can cover some of the aspects which he has already covered in the videos that is already in the public data, and I can share my experience of what is the purpose behind it and the results that it produces and what it shows you. And it's kind of like a magical a document that keeps you on track. So there are a couple of aspects of it, and it's very strangely simple. It's too simple to implement. I was thinking that it would be super technical and hard to manage, and it'll have too many aspects. But it doesn't have too many aspects. It has only a few points, and if you just address those few points, it'll hold you accountable to fulfill your dreams, to fulfill your goals. So there are some aspects of it that I can cover, and I'm going to cover that in this video. So wait till the end if you want to get the full value of the video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Prithvi Chauhan, and I'm a founder of a healthcare investment company based in UAE. I've done 2 seminars with Dan Pena'S, including QLA. This is Quantum Leap Advantage seminar that happens in Guthrie Castle in Scotland. And I've also done QLA Hardcore seminar. In addition to that, I've watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of content that he has online with taking notes. I've interacted with many of his mentees that have portfolios worth between $30 to $50 million. Some of them that I've directly met and talked to, and looked into the kinds of deals that they have done and how they closed the deals, etc. So I've been connected with the circles. I've been to the Castle seminars, and I'm going to be talking about this weekly reporting system and what does it do to you, right? Okay, so let's get started. So one of the aspects of the weekly reporting system is you have to list out your goals. What are your goals, right? And you have to list it out almost every single day. Usually I would copy and paste it. And what this aspect does is that it reminds you of where you are headed or where you should be heading. So a lot of the people lose touch with their goals. They get a little bit caught up in life. They get caught up in personal commitments, time, day, their work, a job that they're doing that is paying their bills, and they kind of lose touch with this reality, the real reality, where we want to be headed. So that's kind of like the anchor. That's where it kind of starts, is what are your goals? Okay. And then the second aspect is, during the day, who did you meet? Friends, family, relative, anybody that you messaged, anybody that you called, anybody that you talked to. And the whole purpose of this is to hold you accountable, hold your time accountable, and look at where your time and your life energy. You can get money back, but you can't get time back, and your life is ticking away, and you're almost dying every single day. Every day that passes by, you're dying. So where exactly is that time being allocated? The things that you want to do with your life are the things that you are actually doing. Are they connected or not? So who are you meeting every single day? And what did they have? Did they have anything to do with your goal or not? And you have to make a list of your goals and list of the people that you met. All of them. You have to list out all of them. You can't cheat. You have to list out all of them. And see if these two match. And if you write these down honestly, you will see 80 to 90%, if you are doing this for the first time, 80 to 90%, they don't have anything to do with each other. Absolutely nothing. 80 to 90%. In most cases, 95 to 99%. For example, you have a goal of, if you're a man, you may have a goal of being around the most beautiful women on the planet who look like supermodels. and your goal is to make a couple of $100 million, or if you're like me, to become a billionaire and travel the world. Let's say these are some of your goals. And who you are meeting with is your friends that you're going to go to pub with, your brother, mother, or whoever you're talking to. Maybe a couple of friends that you talk to, couple of friends that, I used to give my time away, and all of this. And then maybe some women that don't look like the most attractive women in the world. So all of my time is allocated, and maybe I have a job that I pay my bills around. If what I'm doing looks like this and my goals are completely on a totally different level, obviously these two are not linked. These two have nothing to do with each other. So I just wasted my time. And what you would start to notice is that once you start identifying day in and day out, and people on this list are kind of the same and your goals are kind of the same, you will have to go through a restructuring process where you really have to choose between the two, because you will clearly see it on paper. Either you will have this or you will have this. So you will see that you will have to give up this to have this. You will have to sacrifice the mediocre for the extraordinary. And it's important to see it with your eyes, because it's very easy to squander away your time. Most of our days just disappears. We can be on social media, we could be doing something, watching some reels, and boom, it's gone. Talk to a couple of friends and it's gone. So when you write it down and you remind yourself every day what your goal is and who do you meet and talk to, it's going to get clear why you don't have this. And it's going to clear what you need to sacrifice. At that time, you will have a choice to either let go of this ruthlessly and fast. And then you can see every day, you can start to see that few things are coming off and you're moving in this direction. I used to have a couple of, I brought it down to 80%. So 70 to 80% were linked and 20% were not linked. So if I want to be billionaire, there was a time where I was talking to multi-billion-dollar CEOs very regularly, people who had raised hundreds of millions of dollars, many, business owners, sellers, top law firms, top accounting firms, banks. I started to do all these meetings, and all of those were related, directly or indirectly, to my vision. People who could advise me to maybe get my social life in order and help me meet these super beautiful women. And those are my goals. You may not want to meet beautiful women. You may be married with a kid. That's fine. I'm talking about what my goals are and how I was holding myself accountable. Okay. So I brought it down to 70 to 80%, and I saw that this last 20% was kind of the most difficult, because these were my closest ties, maybe a mother, a brother, that may want to live a completely different life. Nothing against them, but they just want to live a totally different life. And my design of life was completely different than theirs. So it was obvious that they were not in my life. And that's a hard thing to confront. So last 20% to let go of was the most difficult. And the moment I did that form, I just took off. The progress and the productivity that I experienced was nothing compared to anything. So that is one aspect of the QLA weekly reporting system, is your goals and who did you meet. Another one is emotional bank account. Is something that Dan Pena talks about, is how drained did you feel in the day? How did you feel emotionally? From 1 to 10, what was your emotional bank account? How much energy did you have? How much emotional strength did you have? And what this showcases, and these two things, the goals and the people you meet and the emotional bank account, is closely related. Because when I saw that I removed people who were not related to my goals and I was moving towards my goals and having success in that, my emotional bank account, my mood was really high. When I allowed people in my life that were not related to my goal, I felt drained. My energy felt drained. And also your emotional bank account is how you handle your energy. How much time do you spend in business meetings? You don't need 1-2 hours of long negotiations. Even the top multi-million dollar negotiations, you don't need a lot of time if you're ruthless enough. You can give them one deal structure, and if they accept it, they accept it. If they don't, you walk. So it doesn't have to take too much time. If you're spending too much time with the wrong people, again, you would feel very drained. So emotional bank account is another aspect of the weekly reporting system. The other one, and this is one of my favorites, this helped me a lot, is problem solving. So while you're taking the quantum leap, while you're moving towards your goals, you're moving towards your visions and dreams, here are your dreams, and you've got many micro problems that you would confront, and this is where you are. If you solve one problem after the other, eventually you will get to your goal and you would become one. But what you have is challenges and problems. Maybe you don't have financing. Maybe you don't have the right business model. Maybe you don't have the right mentor. Maybe you don't have the right people. Maybe your family has too much leverage on you. Maybe you don't have enough income. Whatever the problem is, if you write it down, if you identify those problems, what they are, at least you have something specific to work with. When problems exist in your mind, you have a brain fog and you have procrastination because you don't even know where you're stuck. If you don't know what your goals are, if you don't know what the problems are, if you don't know where you're stuck, and if you don't evaluate the people that you are associated with, what they have anything to do with the goals, it's going to get very obvious that, you're completely lost. So if you don't write these things down, you would be completely lost. But if you write it down, this is my goal. These are the people I associate with. They have nothing to do with each other. Let me remove this. Now you have this. Now you have problems and challenges that you're facing every day. Write down those challenges one by one. And what he did was, instead of being a wimp and being dependent, you use your mind to solve those problems. So you have one problem, clearly articulate the problem. Let's say maybe you don't have an income. So I don't have an income. Okay, what are the ways that I could generate income? You could write some, solutions next to that. Why don't I have income? Because I don't have a product or a service. Maybe I don't have an audience. How can I get products or services? What products or services? What audience I can sell it to? What is the medium of communication? Who I can partner up with? You could start using your mind and you can start solving each and every problem. And so I would write down the problem, and before writing down, my first disposition would be, I don't think I can solve this on my own. Or I don't think I can solve this. Okay. But when I write it down and I start working on the problem, strangely, I would find breakthroughs. I would find solutions. I would know what to do. My procrastination would go away. My brain fog would go away. Simple exercise, writing the problem and writing the solution for it. Completely changed my life. And if you see that new problems are coming in, bigger problems are coming in, and old problems you're able to solve, you're moving ahead. And if you see the people are starting to get closely linked with each other, your dreams and the people that you associated with are directly related, and you're able to solve problems, you're moving ahead and you're moving at a tremendous speed, and you will see everything around you is going to change. Another aspect is habits. Did you do your affirmations? Are you visualizing success in your mind, which is an important aspect, and this thing holds you to account. There is another step where he holds you to account in the QLA steps, mergers and acquisitions. Step by step, did you do these steps? So it's a completely airtight weekly reporting system which helps you evaluate what your goals are, who you're spending your time with, what are the challenges and problems, and how do you restructure. And this needs constant management. Constant. You can't just let this be for a couple of months and just let this gather, where you're living an unexamined life that is not accounted for. One of the most valuable resources that you have is your time. It's not the money, because there's plenty of money in the world. Your body has very little energy, which is measured in time on this planet, the time that you have. So time is limited. And if you're managing it every single day, if you're evaluating where you're spending it, and he does not impose any goals that he has on you. You're the one deciding the goals you want to have. You're the one deciding the kind of life that you want to have. And he's simply holding you to account. Okay, I didn't say do this. You are saying you want this. Based on this is, you should not be doing this, but this is based on this. I remember one of the guys, he reached out to me a couple of days ago. He reached out to me and I asked him, it was a consultation call that I was doing with him, and I asked him, how much money do you want to make? And he said he wants to make $200 million. And I said, okay, and how much time do you want to make? He said 3 years. I said, okay. And what do you do? He said, I'm a business and development manager in a software company. I said, okay. And how much time do you spend? 8 to 12 hours. I said, okay. Do you know any business development managers who have made $200 million in 3 years? No. So 8 to 12 hours spent being a business development manager, goal, $200 million, have nothing to do with each other. I said this to him within the first 5 minutes of the conversation. I don't know anybody who has made that kind of money, this kind of money in this position. So your goal and your current position is completely unrelated. Now, it may take you time to transition out. It may take you time to restructure. That's fine. But be aware that these two have nothing to do with each other. The only way that person would make $200 million is being an entrepreneur. But his request was, I don't want to change this situation. How can I make the $200 million being where I am? And there is no such thing. There is no such thing as how can I be what I am today to make the 200 million. No, there will have to be a transformation. Complete transformation of who you are, your situation, complete restructuring. You will have to restructure everything to cater to your goal and your team. And it took him about 45 minutes to an hour to get to the same conclusion that I was, because he really believed that he could make $200 million in this position. And I told him that you're not even going to make $25 million, forget about $200 million in this position. I'm not saying you can't make 200 million or 25 million. I said in this position, it's never happened. So you will have to become a shareholder, you will have to become an entrepreneur, you will have to change something about your position, and then it will happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but in being in this position, it's not going to happen. And it took him about 45 minutes to an hour. We had a conversation and he arrived at the same conclusion. But I told him the first 5 minutes, I asked him, what is your goal? He said, $200 million. What's your position? I'm a business development manager. And I just put the two together and I knew that he would have to change something. So it's a very simple exercise, yet people don't do it. So you want to always and constantly ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want in this situation? What do I want overall result? And what does anything that's in my periphery view have anything to do with my goal? The people, the environment, the surroundings, all of it. If it has nothing to do with your goal, something has to change. There has to be an action plan to get out of that situation, to leave the friends, to leave the family behind and go to Monaco or whatever your destination is. Okay. So that's today's video. And if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and I'll talk to you soon.